Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Optimist Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Nate Polvogt, joined by my weekly co-host, the one and only Kacey Kasem. Kacey, how are you on this fine Thursday as we head towards week 6?
I'm excited about football being tonight. I am exhausted from this day. My brain is swimming with players' names, and I'm sure I'm going to be very confusing today, y'all.
Yeah, I got a pedicure and a manicure today.
I like it.
Yeah, I had to go blue for Optimus, I guess.
Okay.
But then Halloween's coming. I will go orange and black, I promise.
Okay, I look forward to that. All right, you better.
Yeah, no, I will. Guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in and remind you, please make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the Optimist channel. We've got a ton of stuff coming all week long. DFS live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then we have our live Q&A at 6 p.m. Eastern. I am joined by Matt Chester and the one and only Dynasty Coach A, John Arrington. And again, you can catch me and Mike Reedy DFS live at 4 p.m. Eastern. But this week, today, we are talking about Thursday Night Football to start the show, folks. We have the San Francisco 49ers visiting the Seattle Seahawks, the 12th man stadium. The over-under on this game, Casey, 48.5. That's a medium scoring NFL game, I suppose. It's where we see a lot of the over-unders sit for these games. San Francisco, 3.5-point favorites. If you wanted to hedge your bets with the Seattle on the money line, they are plus 155. That's like, you win like $1.55 on a buck bet. So not bad, right? Like money's money. I'd take it.
Yeah. For sure.
We got Albert in the chat saying hello, everyone. What's up, Albert? So let's get started with this game. Let's start with San Francisco. Brandon Ayuk appears to be back. I mean, he looked really good last week.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. At this point, do you feel like he's a weekly must start?
I mean, I'm going to, yeah. I think I'd feel kind of silly not. And if it comes back to bite me, I'd rather, in this situation, I'd rather it come back to bite me on somebody that.
Well, I think we're at a point where, there's no Christian McCaffrey for the foreseeable future, so they've got to use every weapon they have. Brandon Ayuk's one of those guys. 12 targets last week, 147 yards. That's a lot of points without a touchdown. So, and he's going to find the end zone at some point. Now, what about Brock Purdy? You starting him this week?
I mean, yes, I'm starting him this week. I'm starting him this week. You probably drafted him to start him anyway.
Yep.
And the options, I mean, I would just take a shot on Purdy this week.
Yeah, same. Now on the Seattle side, do you know Smith getting into like spot sit territory, especially against the San Francisco defense?
Yes, I think so. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, I think this time it's one of those where you have to look at the matchup. And
unfortunately, I agree, but that does not mean that I'm going to sit DK Metcalf.
No,
I like him this week. JSN, is he worth a start?
I think he is worth a start. I think that he has that potential. I think that he's been one of those guys that you can depend on. He's been a red zone target. He's been targeted in the red zone. He needs, this might be the game that he can actually snag one in the end zone and score a touchdown here. So, I'm starting him and hoping for the best.
I mean, the volume's been there. Week 2, he had 16 targets. Last week, he only had 7. But against the San Francisco defense, division rival, that kind of changes the dynamic of some of these games. I can see him getting really involved. Tyler Lockett, is he a start this week? I am starting him.
Yeah, I'm starting him as well. I think I plug in my flex, wide receiver 2, whatever. I feel comfortable starting Lockett this week.
What about Kenneth Walker? I mean, he had the big week in week 4 against Detroit, but then he only had 5 carries for 19 last week. He did salvage it in the air, 7 catches, 57 yards. I think Kenneth Walker's a guy I want to start every week. He's going to have bad weeks. It happens to everybody. But San Francisco, Atlanta, Buffalo, the next 3 games, I'm starting him in all 3.
Yeah, it happens to everyone, like you said. If you go and look at just last year and see some of those top guys had some duds of games, if
Right.
you've got to just understand that the good comes with the bad, and the bad comes with the good. All
Yeah,
that stuff. So,
exactly. And now Zach Charbonnet, do you feel like he's still viable?
ah, I think he is less viable than if you were like having to choose between him and Lockett. But I think if you need to with bye weeks and all that other fun jazz, I would still start him. I'm
Yeah,
not like happy to do so, but I'm doing that anyway.
sure. Well, I think that's one of the caveats to all of this. Now that we're getting into bye week territory, there are points you might not have a choice. I had
Yeah.
to start Tyler Huntley in a 2-quarterback league last week in King's Classic, actually.
Oh wow, that's
I
fun.
Oh no, it was not King's Classic. I take that back. I did have to start him in King's Classic, not even 2 QB. But it's a league full of sharks, right?
Right.
And I ended up winning.
I mean, things happen. Those crazy things.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That is so
Yeah.
awesome. Like this week, I have like half my team, my home league. They're on bye. Half my team. I've got a lot of Minnesota Vikings wide receivers on my
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah, Jordan Addison. I had to replace him this week. I spent a lot of time on waivers the last couple of days in
Me
those
too.
leagues. So Marcus, I'm coming for you this week. Watch out. Now I think we pretty much covered that. I want to know though, who do you think is the top fantasy scorer in this game, Casey?
I think that the top fantasy scorer in this game is probably going to be. Why do I not? Oh my gosh. Your girl cannot get her stuff together today.
It's all right.
Did I say Ayuk? Who did I say? Ayuk. Yes, I did.
You said
See, I
Ayuk.
just wanted to make sure that's because I was I wanted to be a little different, but I'm going to go with Ayuk.
I'm with Ayuk as well. I think he has a big night tonight. First touchdown score, I'm going with George Kittle. He's plus 900 on ESPN Bet. Who is your pick?
And my pick would be Jordan Mason. I'm going to go a little different than you.
I love that. I think he's as likely as anybody else.
Yeah.
I believe he actually has the highest odds at plus 450. Ken Walker is second with plus 600. Then we've got Debo at 750, Ayuk at 850, Kittle at 900, Metcalf at 1100. For all of you people who like to bet, I do sometimes. Just depends. Yes. Something I have been betting on a lot is waivers, and we know they've passed, guys. We know it's Thursday, but there are always players sitting around in your leagues you can claim later. Sometimes they're free, depending on your league settings. So we're going to get into our post-waiver wire ads. Casey, we're going to go with your first one. This is a New York post-waiver ads this week, New York themed. Darius Slayton of the New York Giants. He is currently rostered 7% on both ESPN and Yahoo. It's sounding a lot like there's not going to be Malik Neighbors this week.
Yeah, and that's my biggest factor here is that I'm a big Wan'Dale Robinson fan. Obviously, like he's been getting peppered with targets, but Darius Slayton had a game last week, and he's in a spot this week. I think that he can possibly score a touchdown. Even I mean, they've thrown 5 touchdowns to the wide receiver. Been able to throw 5 touchdowns to the wide receiver position, 10 touchdowns through the air in total against the Bengals. So, I mean, why not?
Well, Cincinnati's secondary isn't nearly as good as Seattle's. They kind of somehow he lit Seattle up for 122 yards, and they've got Cincinnati at home at MetLife. So this is a situation I think Slayton could light it up. He's 7% rostered.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I was like, I went and checked just to make sure because I was like,
right.
Because Wan'Dale, like I kind of know where he is now when it comes to how owned he is. How much rostership there is for him. But yeah, Slayton.
Well, Slayton's new. He just popped up.
Yeah.
Now, my first wide receiver, we're going to pivot, and this says Green Bay. Man, this was just earlier. A lot going on. We know he plays for the New York Jets, Casey.
I do that all the time. I do that all the time. I'm not even, I do that all the time.
Jen and I talk about how hard it is sometimes to keep track of this. To be fair, Lazard's been in New York for 2 years. Now, on ESPN, 39% rostered. On Yahoo, he's 34% rostered. He should be nearly 100% rostered right now. And I don't know why he's not. 3 games with 8+ targets out of 5. He's second on the team in targets, catches, and yards. 4 receiving touchdowns through 5 games. he's a Rodgers favorite. You know how this
Yeah.
guy operates. We all know how this guy operates. He likes his comfort players. Until Davante Adams is a part of this Jets offense, Allen Lazard's that guy, which means he's going to get the red zone looks. He's going to get the high value targets down the field. Garrett Wilson's already complained about it. And Garrett Wilson managers have complained about it, where he's simply just not getting that wide receiver one treatment. It tends to go towards Lazard. So I would be grabbing him all over the place if you can.
Yep. I'm on that same boat right there because like he was available. I was like, yep. And I was not on him at the beginning of the year. I just was like, whatever. But like, hello, he's shown up. He's scoring those touchdowns. He's a target hog. Here goes Aaron Rodgers getting him the ball. So yeah, everything you said.
I think it's funny for some reason we all try and talk ourselves into somebody. They can change Aaron Rodgers. You can't change Aaron Rodgers. He's always he's at the very Yeah, no, you're not going to change him. Now we're going to pivot back to the other side of New York. Well, still MetLife Stadium. Theo Johnson, the tight end, rookie tight end for the New York Giants. He's rostered 1.3% on ESPN and 1% on Yahoo. You wouldn't have thought that we'd be peppering the New York Giants, right? But it's kind of
this is weird.
But with what Malik Neighbors has done, and now for him to be out second game in a row, this is a team that can't really effectively run the ball, but we'll get to how that might change here in a minute. But knowing that, they have to throw. So Slayton's going to eat. Wan'Dale Robinson's going to eat. And Theo Johnson, he's underrated for his speed. There was a day at the Senior Bowl where he was the fastest player on the field during drills in the morning.
Nice. See, and that's what you want. And even if it's just for this week, because it might just be this week, who knows? But if you need a tight end, I know that's silly. We've been pounding that into your head about how tight end is so top heavy when it comes to like certain guys that are in the top 3-5 range. And then you've got, but Theo Johnson has that ability to pop. I mean, he had his best game last week. He was targeted 5 times. He caught every single ball that was thrown his direction. He needs to get involved. And the Bengals they've given up 3 touchdowns to the tight end position. And I mean, tight ends really aren't doing a whole lot this year for fantasy. We say that every year, but I'm saying it again. And so Theo Johnson definitely on my radar.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. He's what I wanted Daniel Bellinger to be in this offense.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
He's going to be that target hound guy. Now we're going to go to the running back position. We're going for Tyrone Tracy, the rookie. He is rostered 24% on ESPN, 34% on Yahoo, which I was a little bit shocked that he was that highly rostered, but I like it. But he should be closer to 50 to 60%. He needs to be rostered in leagues. 129 yards last week on 18 carries. Tell me Devin Singletary could ever do that. He simply can't. And then what? He had a catch for, I believe it was like 28 yards. Something. Yeah. No, he had one catch for 1 yard, but still 18 carries, 129 yards. He averaged 7.17 yards per carry. Devin Singletary looks like he could be out again this week. Brian Dable's on the hot seat. Why wouldn't you roll with the guy who's got the hot hand? Right?
I mean, you would think so. Yeah, exactly. And I picked him up. I have him on a few rosters. I had to start him last week, and I'm so glad I did, so there you go.
Yeah. Well, now I want to point this out here. Comment about Theo Johnson. I like my athletic tight end, so Theo Johnson is on a lot of my dynasty teams. He was a late rounder, too, in dynasty. You were getting him 4th if your league had a 5th round. Sometimes he wasn't even getting drafted, and you could just grab him. So, but back to Tyrone Tracy, like you were saying, it just makes sense, right? Saquon Barkley was able to help Daniel Jones be a far more successful quarterback because he put that fear into defenses that, oh no, he could explode at any time. Tyrone Tracy can do that. Devin Singletary can't. No.
There you go.
He can't do it. All right, Kacey, I do want to get to some of the comments here. The first one, Mr. Doug Royer. Hello, good to be tuned in. Doug, it's good to see you in here. We appreciate you tuning in. And then Jason Quinn in the chat here on X. Guys, if you are watching us on Twitter, on X, on your phone, on your computer, you can comment, so please drop those in here. He needs one wide receiver and one flex player. JSN, Josh Downs, Deontay Johnson, Rico Dowdle, Kyle Pitts, Bucky Irving, half PPR. I almost said Kyrie Irving.
Yes, swish.
I don't know. Yeah, right. So I don't know. One wide receiver, one flex. I'm probably going to pivot back to Deontay Johnson this week. It's not as nearly as tough of a matchup for Carolina as for my wide receiver. And then I think I like your call on JSN. I'd probably fire him up. Fire him up as a one. Do it the right way. Fire JSN up as a wide receiver and put Deontay Johnson in your flex, Jason. But we didn't have to tell you that. You already knew.
You already know.
He already knew. We've got Albert Marroquin asking, pick 2 full PPR. Brian Thomas Jr., Mooney, Jameson Williams. Casey, who are your 2?
I'm going to go Mooney and Williams.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning to. Though, I mean, really, you can't go wrong with any combination of these 3, in my opinion. So we have got Jonathan Santiago in here saying, hey, would you start JSN at San Francisco or gamble with Wicks again?
Probably. I'm not really a big gambler, here, but I say that and then I'm forced into these positions where I end up gambling because I forget to set my lineups anyway. I'm just kidding, guys, just because I'm so busy helping you guys set yours. But anyway, I'm going to go JSN on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going JSN. All right, so we agree. JSN it is. B Ruckus saying, sup, my people. B Ruckus, thanks for tuning in. Guys, if you are watching, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We're here every Thursday if you love us.
Every Thursday for you. Come get your advice.
You, the people.
Come hang out with us. Let's have fun. Let's make Thursday awesome. Get ready for football.
That's all right. That's all we're doing. Just trying to help you guys. Let's do it. And what we're going to do now, let's go through some start sits. Guys who are on the fringe. I went through my rankings, Casey, and these are the guys I bring to you this week. Start or sit at quarterback. I can't believe we're actually talking about this in all seriousness. Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos is up against the Los Angeles Chargers. They've got him at home this week. Now, while they're not wearing the throwback uniforms, do you think the power of the nostalgia is still in Bo Nix this week against the Chargers?
No, I don't. Wah, wah. I know that's sad. I don't think I'm starting him this week. I know it's just I don't really like the matchup with the Chargers this week. And, it's going to be one of those matchup dependent kind of things where, okay, let's give him another week to get acclimated a little bit more. And let's see if he can pass that eye test.
Okay. Would you rather Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, Drake May.
Bo Nix, I think. So maybe you're getting me to the point where I'm like, if I was in a situation where I don't know though, because Drake May is intriguing to me.
See, that's where I was kind of going with it.
But
Spencer Rattler's intriguing to me too. I don't know why.
But I don't know.
I hated him.
Okay,
not hate, but I don't love his skill set. But for some reason there.
I just didn't. I don't know. Spencer Rattler, let's just say I did draft for a dynasty league before the draft even happened. We had a draft and I ended up drafting all quarterbacks, just hoping somebody would hit. So I'm hoping Spencer Rattler has one heck of a game.
What's funny is that Herms and I at the Senior Bowl kept comparing him to Derek Carr. This guy's like Derek Carr. He's like this guy, Derek Carr. And now he's starting in place of Derek Carr. So this could actually be possibly, I guess, a good situation for him. But I'm with you. In most situations, I'm probably not starting Bo Nix.
I'm kind of changing my mind now on Rattler now too. Because I'm like, I don't know. Do I want to take a shot on a guy who had a good game last week and has a bad matchup? Or do I want to take a shot on these guys that are kind of unproven in the NFL? And especially,
it is fair that the matchup sucks against Tampa Bay. Their defense has been pretty decent. But also, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got better weapons than Bo Nix.
He does, and that's pretty ideal. Sorry, Bo.
Now, Caleb Williams up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their defense has not been good at all. Caleb Williams has looked markedly better the last few weeks. Tore Carolina up last week. Does he tear up Jacksonville this week, Casey?
Yeah, I think he has another game where he goes off against Jacksonville. So I'm very confident starting Caleb Williams this week.
The destruction of the 1993 expansion franchises back to back by Caleb Williams. I'm with you. I'm firing him up this week.
Get him.
What about Daniel Jones up against Cincinnati? He had a good week last week. I wrote him up as a quarterback I would be getting on waivers. I think Daniel Jones is a guy who might be stepping into you might want to start this guy every week territory again.
That's so odd to say, especially that first game of the season where like, oh my God, get him out of there. But yeah, he's been doing work, and we've been talking about all the receivers and all the, and the running backs, and we've been talking about that whole team. So why wouldn't we be talking about this quarterback?
Well, something Herms and I talked about in relation to this last night is, so he had those two picks week 1 against Minnesota, but he's only thrown one since against your Cowboys in week 4. He's got the 6 touchdown passes. He's just not turning the ball over at the clip he has in previous seasons. And for whatever reason that is, it could be a symptom of the weapons he has. He has 3 20-plus point performances in 5 games. Sure, game 1 was bad. Dallas, that wasn't great either, 10 points. But Cincinnati, Philly, then at Pittsburgh, against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, that's a week I might think about sitting him. But at least these next 2 weeks, Cincinnati and Philly, I'm starting Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Trevor Lawrence up against that Bears defense that is actually very, very good.
Yeah.
I don't want him anywhere near my starting lineup this week against Chicago.
Me either. I'd pivot, go see if you can find somebody on the waiver. Well, waivers might have somebody. They might. Hopefully you didn't just draft Trevor Lawrence. You might have to go look elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. No. He's not drop, but it's a situation where I will spot start him.
Yep. It's just like, you're gonna have to be like streaming quarterbacks.
Yes, he's a streaming quarterback. Now let's move to running backs here. Alexander Mattison is up against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. Casey, that defense has been really good. I don't think I can start him this week.
Yeah, I was debating maybe having to put him in flex just if I had to. But yeah, I'm sitting him. So, like you said,
especially with Aiden O'Connell starting this week.
Yeah. There's another guy I have in Dynasty. Anyway, yeah, Aiden O'Connell.
There may be a time when Aiden O'Connell's good.
He might be one of those streamer guys too, for all we know. We don't know yet, but
just not this week against Pittsburgh.
No, definitely not. Not doing it.
All right, Justice Hill though, up against Washington, their defense isn't good. I mean, they made Cleveland made them look really good, but they're not actually good. I think Justice Hill could be a PPR guy to start this week.
Yeah, I go with that too. I think the game, it gets to a point where it's going to be high scoring. He's going to probably get the ball a lot. I'm liking that. I'm liking that call. So I'd start him.
Yeah. I'm probably not starting him in non-PPR. But.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Yeah. Because PPR guys and non-PPR guys sometimes they're all over the place when it comes to, you definitely need to double, triple check what your league setting is that you're in, so you don't accidentally start the wrong guy.
Justice Hill's a guy, just if there isn't passing premium, I don't know.
There's a handful of dudes out there that are 9-day one or the other. So
Rachaad White's one for me, but I think he's even getting to a point in PPR. I don't think I'm starting him anymore. Is this Bucky Irving's offense? It feels like.
I think he's just starting. Yeah, he's been eating into that playing time, and
I mean,
it's looking like it's starting to turn.
Well, he had a couple of big gains against Atlanta, but then even the passing work, the 3 catches for -6 yards. Yuck.
That's not.
Cam Akers has been kind of yuck in Houston. He did get the touchdown last week, but is it time to think about starting Darren Ogunbowale until Joe Mixon is back, if he ever comes back?
I would still. Yeah, if he ever comes back. Oh man,
I know
he was my redraft. I got him in some. Okay, I'm good. Calm down here. Bringing up some sad memories. It was the good times when he was draftable, and now he's just not playing. We've got, I think that I'm starting him this week.
I am too.
Especially no Mixon. Yeah, I think that I'm comfortable putting him in my flex spot at least. And
I think they're going to have the ball a lot with Drake May at quarterback, possibly. I don't know.
Give him the ball.
We'll see. Let's move over to wide receiver Josh Downs. He is questionable. If he is on the field, are you starting him this week against Tennessee, Casey?
Yes, I am starting him, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the matchup. I am a fan of the player and what he's shown. If he's out there, I feel like you're kind of forced into a corner where you have to start him. So starting him.
Well, Michael Pittman's out. It sounds like he could be going to IR, which just really sucks.
Whatever. I know. You know what really sucks is when you write a whole article about Michael Pittman and then like a few minutes later, boom.
No. Oh, no. That is the worst.
I hated yesterday so much. Anyway.
Okay, Dontayvian Wicks against the Arizona Cardinals. I probably will start him. Tempered expectations, but I'm probably starting him.
Yeah, I'm probably starting him as well.
Same with Rashid Shaheed against Tampa Bay.
Yes. Same.
Rattler throws a nice deep ball. I will give him that. And he's really accurate when he can get the ball down the field. So Shaheed could be the beneficiary of that.
That'd be awesome.
Jerry Jeudy. Philly defense isn't that good. Jerry Judy's actually been okay. He's been better than Amari Cooper for the most part. I'm on the fence here. There's part of me that doesn't think that Deshaun Watson makes it out of the first quarter of this game as the quarterback. And if that happens, we get Jameis, and then we get 30 touchdown, 33 interception, 5,000 yard, big arm, jolly Jameis.
Yeah.
And if that happens, I really want Jerry Jeudy in my lineups, but I'm almost betting on that to happen. Do you think this is the week that happens?
Thinking and wanting, and hoping are two different things. I don't know if this is the week that happens, but I still want to put Jerry Jeudy in. And it's one of those guys where, you know the situation I'm talking about. The guy that you sit and he goes off and you put him in your lineup and he does. Okay. And this is one of those guys that does that. But if I start him, this better be the week.
Right?
That it works out.
It could be. And it could be though.
I mean, we honestly don't know what's going to happen. Like you said, there could be a quarterback switch, and it changes everything. When Flacco, with Flacco, same thing. Once a quarterback change happens, you just taking those shots.
Yeah, and I don't know that it might take an injury to get him replaced, which I would never wish injury on anyone, of course. I'm just saying that's what it might take for Deshaun Watson to get replaced this season. So we'll have to see what happens against Philly. Now we're going to go to tight ends. And as always, this is more of a streaming tight ends rather than a starter sit here. Juwan Johnson, again, up against Tampa Bay, Spencer Rattler at quarterback. I do think Taysom Hill's not playing again. I am going with Juwan Johnson this week. I'm streaming him all over the place.
Man, you're a lot more bold than I am. I don't think I can this week. I think I say you're more bold than me. I think I would probably just pivot to another guy in that same that's available, because Juwan Johnson's probably available. I would, if I was in that position where like in my home league, tight ends are scooped up by the handfuls, even though it's not even tight end premium. So in that situation, I feel comfortable because the matchup's nice. It's just Juwan Johnson hasn't really made me.
Well, he hasn't made anybody really.
No, he hasn't. But everybody keep having the faith. Hopefully one day it happens, and this is the perfect time for it to happen.
Yep. What about Tyler Conklin against Buffalo this week?
And that's
it's New World in New York.
Yeah,
I'll probably fire him up this week.
I'm firing him up this week too. He's been kind of boomish, if you will.
Yeah.
So he's kind of got that.
Yeah.
Take
that, Andrew Cooper. How about Patty Muth up against Las Vegas this week? I think I want to start him.
I want to start him too. I'm not sure exactly what that game is going to look like in terms of scoring. But yeah, I feel comfortable. He's a solid guy.
Bo Nix put up 37 points on him, so just keep that in mind.
Just keep that in mind.
Mr. Zachary Ertz up against Baltimore this week. He's been a really reliable streamer this season. I think, though, this week, I don't really know that I like him against Baltimore's defense.
I'm not sure either, but I think I'm still starting him. I think that he has been so reliable, like some of those guys where I just kind of have to put them in because they've been, putting up 6 points here or whatever is better than the zeros you get from a lot of guys. And he has been consistent. And we've been saying it for weeks that you should use Zach Ertz while you can but he's been looking, he's been looking all right. So
while you can might be through the end of this season. I don't know
that's what I'm saying.
That Ben Sinnott's going to get hold. I liked him coming out of Kansas State, but
it might not be that.
Might not. This is another Daniel Bellinger, Jeremy Ruckert situation. Sal,
don't even start, man.
I know.
This is where all the tight end hatred comes from. Is just taking shots on all these guys, thinking that they're going to have these amazing NFL careers and won't.
Yeah. So we're going to get to some comments here. We've actually got a lot of them. Mr. Doug Royer, your dad, he thinks Drake's going to have a big week if the offensive line can protect him. Doug, that's where I am concerned. When that news broke, 30 seconds later, Herbs, my Wednesday night co-host, texts me and he goes, "Oh no, he's going to effing get murdered."
Yeah.
Behind that line, it might happen. I don't know. I hope not. Or just forces him to be, he can move. So he's just going to have to be like Jacoby Brissett and move around a bunch.
Here's hoping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Jonathan Santiago in the chat wants to know, what do you think about either picking up Ray Davis or Ty Johnson with possible turf toe with James Cook? Ooh, Ray Davis is my guy. I love Ray Davis, but I think Ty Johnson probably this week would be the person I'd pick up.
Yeah, I'm slightly leaning Ty Johnson as well. Yeah.
It's very slight for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's where I'm at. This is where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Parag in here saying he has Danny Dimes pretty high this week. He's QB 14 in total points. Yeah. We all love to hate on the guy, but he is producing. And 2 years ago when he played into that huge contract, he was producing too. So Oscar O dropping in here. Oscar, thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel here. He wants to know if you should drop Wicks for Juju and PPR, and which would we prefer to play, Calvin Ridley versus the Colts or Brian Thomas versus Chicago? Yes, I would drop. First, I'll start here. I would drop Wicks for Juju. Juju is about to be a freaking target monster. We doubted it, and then we saw it in action on Monday night. And then what are you on Ridley here? Ridley or Thomas?
I think I'm going Ridley on this one.
Same. Yeah. That Chicago secondary is too good.
Yeah.
It's kind of the problem.
That's the problem.
We've got Mr. Scampers jumping in here. Good afternoon, beautiful people. Mr.
Hello.
Scampers, it is wonderful to see you, sir. He also wants to know, is there any chance Romeo Doubs gets squeaky wheel game? Half PPR, him, Christian Kirk, or Olave? He's terrified of Rattler. With Olave, I would be a little scared. Yeah, I like Doubs this week. I think he gets involved. How do you feel?
Man, this would be so much easier, right? If I would go Olave. Do I want to? Rattler does scare me, but I'm going to go Olave on this one over Doubs.
All right. Agree to disagree. But see, this is why this is the beauty of this. We can't all have the same opinion. Jamie Parag here wants to know, start to Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas, or Olave, and Olave. I'm probably going to go Deontay and Olave here.
Deontay. God, I wish this could be a get right game for. I want Amari Cooper to do well in this game. I really do. It's set up but I'm going to go Olave as well. So Johnson and Olave.
Yeah, perfect. Tron Force wants to know, Casey, would you trade Trey Sermon to the JT owner for Kyler Murray? 1 QB league. He has JD5, but could get Kyler for insurance. JD5 bye week is week 12. Not using Sermon. He has Barkley and Monty. If they'll trade Trey Sermon for Kyler Murray, yes.
Mm-hmm. If we can get that done, then I would. Yes.
Yeah. As they like to say on the Football Diehards show on Sirius XM radio, dude, you're bending him over a barrel with that one. Just do it. Take it. Jamie wants to know, I'm a Steelers fan. It's true. I am. Why is Roman Wilson a healthy scratch? Because Arthur Smith is a moron. There.
Wow. There's your answer. Got it.
Yeah, that's your answer. They should be using him. Chaka wants to know, when we trade Neighbors for Walker and DJ Moore, PPR redraft, his running back room is awful, but he's strong at wide receiver. Yeah. Yeah. I think DJ Moore eventually is going to at least replace the volume. I don't know that he replaces the production of Neighbors, but I think he'll get there volume-wise. Keenan Allen's shown how old he is, and Roma Dunze's young.
Would I do that trade? Would I? See, okay, trades are the worst for me because if you want to talk about overthinking, Dad, trades are what I overthink. I don't. DJ Moore is the thing that's getting me because I'm like, I'm gonna go with the DJ Moore Walker side. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. It's redraft. If this was Dynasty, there's no way in hell I'd make this deal, but it's redraft.
Yeah.
So,
and the fact, I DJ Moore's been, he's been eating. So let's go. He can eat.
Thanks for the question, Chaka. We appreciate it.
We did.
Trone Force, would you play JSN versus the 49ers or D-Hop versus the Colts this week in PPR? D-Hop's dust. I'm playing JSN.
I do think D-Hop might be a sneaky start this week. Just keep that in the back of your head. But no, JSN, I think I'm going with I have more faith and comfortability with starting JSN. Yeah,
not that there's anything wrong with Dustin Hopkins or that he's really that old because I'm older than him.
Dusty Hopkins.
Dusty old Hopkins. Mr. Scampers with another question here. Steelers are running a healthy amount of 12 personnel, and they're not taking Van Jefferson off the field. That is also a good point. Less of a question and more of there's more to the whole Arthur Smith being a moron thing, I guess. Zach Turner tuning in here on X. Thank you very much for tuning in, Zach. Hello. We appreciate it. I got offered Polk in a mid-2025 third for Rachaad White. Would you take it? This is Dynasty. Yes, I would.
Polk in a 2025 for Rachaad White. Well, without knowing any of the background on these rosters, that's the cop-out thing we always like to say too. Well, if I don't know this and I don't know that.
Right.
Polk in a Rachaad White. Yeah. I mean, right now off the top of my head, yes, I would do that.
Yeah, I would do it. All right. Flash wants to know, Casey, or he is actually letting us know. Brisker didn't travel with the Bears, so don't be afraid of BTJ. It's not necessarily a player like BTJ. He's a good enough route runner and he creates enough separation. I don't really particularly care who's covering him unless it's like Patrick Surtain or maybe Sauce Gardner. Otherwise, I'm not worried. Brisker's great. But I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be running for his life so often in this game. It's going to be hard for him to get those deep targets to Brian Thomas Jr. So that's a little bit more where my concern lies. Matt Wingo 89 wants to know Hubbard or Pollard this week. I'm going Hubbard, Casey.
I'm going Pollard. I know. We're going to disagree on this one.
Man, we just we're all over the place today. But I honestly think you can make a case for either. For me, Hubbard, I feel like has a higher ceiling, but he also, to be fair, probably has a much lower floor than Pollard. So
yeah, that's kind of where that's the only thing. I think both of them. I know it's pretty close, but yeah.
It's non-PPR? Does that change your mind one way or the other?
No, not really. I think I'd still go Pollard.
Okay. All right. Well, Jimmy Prague did like mine. Arthur Smith is a moron. I mean, it's the truth. Yeah. He also says Jalen Johnson is a beast. He can shut down BTJ. I'm betting the under on 56 and a half yards and no touchdown for BTJ. All right. There you go. Now, that's a pretty bold prediction, but we have some bold predictions of our own, Casey. And we're going to start with yours here. Scary Terry, top 10 wide receiver this week. I'm with it.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, I like the matchup. I know I said you really have to look and see like how many fantasy points have certain positions, certain areas on the field, so on and so forth, who, what, when, where, and why, and how, right? But Terry McLaurin, he's been looking not as scary, not scary good way, scary kind of bad sometimes, but he's getting targeted a lot for starters. Okay. He's getting targeted. So that's what I like to look at. He just needs it just needs to happen where he hauls. But I think this is the perfect opportunity this week for him to put some points on the board, score a touchdown. More, we'll see.
Yeah, I like it. He's got the best quarterback in the league throwing him the ball, in my opinion. I mean, and statistically, it's true too. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Any way that we can get into this Washington offense, I'm really liking it. Brian Robinson Jr. has been great. Austin Eckler, when he's healthy, has produced. Scary Terry's been phenomenal. Jaden Daniels is a dream. I like this. I think he's a candidate to be a top 10 wide receiver every week.
Yeah, it's just, you expect certain things from Terry McLaurin, but he's not, and so you just have to temper your expectations. But this, I mean, he's been solid. So feel comfortable. I'm going to say he's going to be top 10. We've seen so many different guys end up in that top 10 that are like mind blowing. So let's go Terry McLaurin this week because, let's go.
Yeah, this has been the season of weird.
It is.
Really anything's possible. All right, we're going to go to my bold prediction now, Casey. Nope, that's not the right graphic here. There we go. I'm calling Chase Brown a top 12 PPR running back this week. Cincinnati's in New York. Chase Brown's the guy, though, and Zach Moss is dinged up. We don't even know if he's going to play this week. If Zach Moss doesn't play, I will almost guarantee that he's a top 12 running back. If Zach Moss does play, I'll about 85% guarantee he's going to be a top 12 running back.
Sounds good. I like this call. Let's find out. I'm about it.
Man. I'm a big Chase Brown guy. I really like him a lot.
You are a big Chase Brown guy.
I am. It's a symptom of Zach Moss, but it turns out that I just really like him. Toronto Dave, what is up, homie? He loves Chase Brown as well. What's not to love? I definitely want to get into this comment section here, Casey. We got a whole bunch of questions here before we get out of here for the afternoon. We've already talked about that one here, but we have got Cap for Life dropping in saying, ladies and gentlemen, cheers. Salute to you, sir. Nino Pena wants to know, how do we feel about this trade? Traded away Kamara and Higgins for Saquon and Tank Dell, full PPR. I don't hate it. I think Saquon's got a little bit more tread on the tires than Kamara does long term. Same thing with Dell over Higgins. And then with Nico Collins out the next couple of weeks, you're going to get a ton of production out of Tank Dell. So short term and long term, I do like this deal.
Yeah, I like the deal too. I can see how it could be helpful for both teams, just in a scenario in my head where I could see this happening. Because, I'm not usually one that trades running back and wide receiver for running back and wide receiver, but I can see where there'd be a reason to do that.
Yeah. We've got Cap for Life wants to know our thoughts on Kamani Vidal. He has DK. I'm assuming you meant JK. I'm not ready I want Kamani Vidal to have a breakout.
We do. We want him to.
It's not this week.
No.
But he's somebody in Dynasty, I'd roster him. And redraft, I'd have a hard time keeping him on my team at this point. I just don't know that
100%. Agree.
Yep. Mr. Scamper's half PPR here, Casey. Dowdle versus Detroit, Spears versus Indianapolis, or Justice Hill against the Washington football team. Dowdle seems the safest for volume, but Detroit is a tough run D, and the others have a shootout potential. Any hunches?
Yeah, that Dowdle versus Detroit, I'm not really a fan of. I know he looked good last week, but this matchup, I think, because Detroit can be thrown on, I'm just not sure I want to go that route. I might go Spears versus Indy. Yeah. I
think Spears versus Indy for me. I like that. Cap for Life, Casey wants to know, do I pick up Gibson or Mitchell? Stevenson and Downs did not participate in practice today. I'm probably going to say Antonio Gibson. I don't trust AD Mitchell yet.
Yeah. I would say Gibson as well.
Now, Jamie wants to know Roschon or Zeke.
Roschon. Better. Yeah, he's got a better opportunity.
He's the new Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Zeke's not.
Or not Jameson Williams, Jamal Williams. He's the new Jamal
the boy,
Williams.
The dude, the guy that was fantasy savior for so many of us.
So 17. I'm not saying he's going to get 17 tutties this year, but he's got 3 in the last 2 games. So just keep that in mind. He's taking over all the red zone work, which that means something. Like Jamie said, answer is always Roschon. He knows me. Mr. Scampers says, thanks as always, y'all. Thank you,
welcome.
Mr. Scampers, for tuning in. Thank
so much.
everybody.
All of
all of you guys. While you're here, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. I know I sound like a broken record, but I pay myself to do it. So, and I want to remind you guys, tomorrow, myself and Mike Reedy will be live at 4 p.m. Eastern with our main slate DFS plays. We have been hitting every week, so tune in. Plus, we're a lot of fun, man. Like, I don't know. Yeah, the old Boston guy and the old Denver guy getting together, talking DFS. It's a hoot. We're a hoot. And then after that, you can find me, Matt Chester, and Dynasty Coach A, host of the Devi Devotional on Optimus Fantasy, for a live Q&A to help you get your lineup set, make some trades, waiver wire claims. If you have some Devi questions, pop them in there. We've got one of the best on the show on Friday. That is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Sunday, as always, myself, Kacey Kasem, Mike Reedy will be live on Reddit for the last minute start sit AMA, 11 a.m. Eastern, up until kickoff. Get those questions in. I'll get that post up about an hour ahead of time. Come find me, throw them in there. We'll get you answered. I believe we got to everyone last week. So I
didn't even help that much, guys.
Oh, no. Everybody
Let me just tell you, everybody out there, listen, if you get a new dog, there's a very, very, very large chance that it will be destructive and pee all over your floor and cause lots of issues. So we're learning here.
Yeah, it's what they do. We did grab a couple of more questions in here. I want to throw them out. Daniel Caps tuning in. I've been cursed on the TNF since it started. Play Mason, right? Other running backs are Pollard, Monty, Ramondre, PPR. Yeah, I'm going Jordan Mason.
I am as well. Jordan Mason.
Yep, and then we have got Dylan Fink here with the last question of the show. Full PPR, pick 2. Jennings plays tonight against Seattle. Alec Pierce against Tennessee. Demario Douglas against Houston. Xavier Hutchinson at New England. Wicks against Arizona. McLeod against Carolina. Bateman against Washington. He says these are sucky choices, but these are my best options. I'm firing up Alec Pierce.
Yeah, I was about to say Alec Pierce definitely stands out of all that group right there. That's definitely one of the guys that I would be going with.
And then I would probably go Wicks.
Yeah, Arizona. I was good. That's probably, yep, out of that group, I would, but Alec Pierce definitely number 1.
Yep, 100%. Guys, thank you again so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Mr. Scamper saying the dog might even chew your drywall. Yeah, that will definitely happen. We've seen it. And Trone for saying you guys are great. Trone, we appreciate it so much.
Thank you for saying that.
Guys, again, thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been a phenomenal recording of the Optimus Fantasy Football Podcast. Good luck in week 6. For Kacey Kasem, I am Nate Polvogt. We'll see you in week 7.